All right, so for a little while now, I've seen this Diced movie pop up here and there, and I've always wanted to check it out. It hasn't been out that long. I think the first one. Okay, really quick, just so you guys know, because I made this mistake. So there is a movie called Diced, right? And then there's Diced Reloaded, and I was like, okay, so I gotta watch part one and then part two, right? So I looked. There was no Diced anywhere online that I could find, but my buddy had it on Plex, and I went to watch it there. And then I did, and I was like, okay, now I'll moving on to part two, which part two is like available on Prime and Tubi and whatever. That one's much easier to find. Oh, wouldn't you know it? Diced Reloaded is just like a director's cut of the first one. So that was really fucking frustrating. Essentially, all you get is basically a much bigger opening at the hospital and an ending past the ending of the first, and there's almost nothing else in between that. I didn't watch the whole thing. I was just kind of fast forwarding it, then being like, yep, seen it, seen it, seen it, seen it, seen it, seen it. So you do not need to watch the first one. There is no first one anymore. That's why it's been taken offline. So just so you know, Diced Reloaded is all you need to watch if you watch this. So don't make my mistake. So there you go. That'll be a much better viewing experience to just watch it as intended. So, all right. Okay. So, do I think that this is inspired by, and that's a generous term here, uh, Terrifier? Yes. Yes, I do. I mean, of course, slashers are similar-ish, but there's just too many things in this movie that feel like they are, emulating Terrifier 1 and 2. And the first one came out in 2023, and Terrifier 2 came out in 2022. And there are quite a few things in here that are kind of ripped straight out of Terrifier. Which is fine. I mean, it's like Friday the 13th spawned the slasher craze, and every fucking movie tried to rip it off, and I love tons of those movies. So it is what it is. It's not a tremendous knock on the film, but do I think that this has any ability to compare with Terrifier? No. But the one thing I was impressed about with this movie is I thought that there was some pretty gruesome good kills for what it was. Because this kind of felt like a glorified, like the original one anyway, which is basically what this one is, but this one's just been expanded upon. It feels like something you'd watch on YouTube. But it's got a decent aesthetic to it. Much like Terrifier 2 with Lauren Lavera, you've got a very attractive, very likable lead girl here. And then as far as like Benny, the Scarecrow, which all I could think of was the Scarecrow slasher movies that I have on VHS. Scarecrow Slayer, and Scarecrow Gone Wild. Decent amount of scarecrow slasher films out there for sure. The look of Benny for me was fine. But yeah, I think the kills are actually quite good. I was pretty impressed with that because there's so many low budget slashers that I watch that have cutaway, no kills on screen, whatever. And then there's other ones where they do show it and it just doesn't look good. Now, do these look as good as Terrifier? No, but they're not bad, man. They're actually quite good at times. There's some gnarly gore in this and some really cool practical effects. It's all practical, 100%. heads being torn apart, freaking bodies being ripped, all apart. It looks good. So if you're like a big slasher fanatic and you want something Terrifier esque, this is definitely something that might be up your alley. Um, I don't think that there's anything really interesting going on with the characters or the story. The music was okay. There's some good lighting in the new scenes. I'm assuming what happened with this is that he made a shorter film, and it was like 50 minutes or something, and he wanted to sell it better, and streaming services, whether it was like Prime or whatever, because I think the first one was on Tubi, in order to sell this as like a feature length, and to get it out there, or maybe just rebrand it to push it again without having to make a whole other feature. Um, and maybe have a complete vision. Maybe he made enough money off his shorter version to expand upon it, and he just wanted to add some things that he felt like were necessary for this to feel fully realized. Whatever it is, the opening of this version is good. That has a lot of good kills, gore. Kind of reminded me a little bit of Rob Zombie's Halloween, between Loomis and young Michael with his mask on, the band, the talk. That felt similar. Or I shouldn't even say a young Michael, because he wears a fucking mask when he's older Michael. No, I'd say older Michael. Anyway, you know what I mean. But yeah, I mean there's just nothing going on in here when it comes to anything else for me. You're here for the kills. The kills are good. The villain himself is fine. The main chick is hot, and I like her. I would definitely watch a sequel for sure. I would definitely check that out, and I hope it happens. Actually, I think that this has promise. If he can get a little bit better of a script and some more money, and actually make characters more fun and engaging, then yeah, I think this could be something that competes with Terrifier. Because yeah, I don't blow Terrifier like everybody does. Like I like Terrifier, but Terrifier, these days has become this like cult phenomenon that there's fanboys that go so hard for it, and they're like comparing it to the old slashers of the golden age of slashers and whatnot. It's like, no, let's not get crazy. Those movies are not that good. But I think that the quality level of that, I think that this has a chance, because the first Terrifier isn't that much higher quality than this movie, honestly. The budget is very low. The characters and the acting are subpar. Like there's a lot of similarities, and this, as I said, this one's kind of a ripoff of Terrifier, and I mean, I can't imagine anyone disagreeing, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't have something here to offer, right? Like I've watched so many slashers in the modern era, and in the past too, but speaking of the modern era slashers, there's so many low budget slashers where I'm just sitting there like, dude, if you couldn't do kills and you couldn't put them on screen in a modern slasher, then don't fucking do the movie. Unless you've got one killer ass slasher movie that has all the other parts, then I guess I could look the other way on the kills. I still would like them, but that's about the only way you can get away with it. But with this one, oh man, they deliver on the kills, which I'm just right there. I'm happy. I'm happy with that. So for me, it was totally worth my time because of that. So good on them for that at least. And as I said, the main chick is good looking, so she was never a problem to have on screen. And yeah, it was fine, but you're there for the kills, and at least watch it for that. If you're a slasher fan and you want something Terrifier-esque, I'm repeating myself. All right, guys, it's 1:46 a.m. I gotta go to bed. Yeah, adios.